Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Truth be told, I had no idea that this damn community direct was even a thing until today, until I saw it in my recommended. Well, now I'm gonna have to make a video on this, or at least I'm gonna record myself watching it and giving my live reaction. I'm not gonna try and be one of those guys that just lets the video play on forever, so I will be pausing. I'll be giving my thoughts, and yes, I will be critical, because the devs have really sold the past year or so. You can argue a lot further than that, actually. So, yeah, I'm not feeling very good heading into this. It's gonna be underwhelming, in my opinion, and the reason for that is yet to be seen. So let's get into it. Show me the good shit.
And welcome to the Sea of Thieves Community Direct. I'm John McFarlane, Head of Creator Engagement, and today I'm going to guide you through a treasure trove of discussion.
If you say so.
We have Head of Community and Comms, Christina McFairholm, Associate Design Director, Shelley Preston, Studio Creative Director, Mike Chapman, and Production Director, Drew Stevens.
Alright, I just want to say this off rip. If you're gonna do a whole, community direct thing, here's my opinion. If you want to reconnect with the community of your gamers and gain trust, they need to see change. These 4 people continue to be on my screen day in and day out. Why can the actual developers of the game never just come to us and tell us what they're doing? Show us what they've been doing. The last time I saw that was when they introduced King's Loot. They may have done that after, and I just didn't see it or remember, but the last time I remember them showing the actual developers of this game doing work and showing concept art was when they introduced King's Loot. And that is kind of sad, because I think as a community we have a right to see previews of what they're working on. And what I mean by that is not the insider program. Not everybody can get into the insider program. We have lots of console players. What I mean by that is, you know how in Steam changelogs you usually sometimes games have GIFs, whatever you want to call them, or little videos that show off how their mechanic works, how you can tell if it's working, and also you can see for yourself how it plays out in real time before you even get in. You can see an example of it. Sea of Thieves has done a horrific job with marketing, and I say that wholeheartedly. The reason people do not want a PvP in this game is because this game is presented as a nice, wholesome little pirate sandbox where you meet friends and Jolly Rogers along the way that want to help you and are just going to have fun with you and make grand adventures across the seas. That is not the case. You will not be left alone if you're playing on high seas. Nobody's going to come up and want to be friends with you. It does happen about 5% of the time. It can happen. It will happen. But this game, its marketing material, the people they put in front of this game are just not it. The gameplay trailers do not represent what the actual experience is like. And we've seen these same people at the front of the damn line feeding us lies and half-truths for God knows how long. And we need a fresh face. I understand these people are the leads at Rare, but we need some other people announcing shit besides just Emporium stuff. You know, you get that charming Afro guy to announce your Emporium dog shit. Good for you. How about we actually hear what developers are doing? How about we see some concepts? How about we see some models or animations that you've been working on? If you've actually been working, you have something to show for it. That's what I have to say. And I'm sick and tired of these people at the forefront giving us nothing. Now let's continue. Let's see what they're about to say that might change my opinion entirely.
Today we're going to talk about Season 20 and how we're evolving our seasonal model. We're going to expand on our renewed focus on game health and discuss changes coming to our cosmetics.
Okay, stop. Stop saying your okay, anyways, stop it. Stop saying the term game health. You have made the game actively worse, actively terrible, and actively one of the buggiest, laggiest, just awful performing games in the past decade. You are not focused on game health. You have never been focused on game health. If you were, you would pick these bugs out. You would fix these problems that we have. You would fix all the bugs, the lag, the glitches, the hackers. You would fix everything, but you don't. So stop lying. Stop saying that you're improving the game health. You're not. You can't tell us that any longer. We have gone 3 years with no actual improvements. Everything you guys have said that you have done has been either untrue or has actively made the game worse. Second off, you are not evolving your season model. You are finding a way to do less and less while calling it something somewhat positive to trick people into thinking you might be doing something over there rare. You probably aren't. Let's be real. I'm just saying that you can't keep saying these buzzwords, keep saying these sweet little lies like Todd Howard, and not produce anything positive for the game. These players deserve better, you know it, and you can't keep using these simplistic terms and just lazy rhetoric to avoid accountability. Stop saying the word game health. Stop talking about how you're evolving seasonal content. You guys have no idea how to do it, and you are scrambling to figure out how. You keep trying different models, and they're failing worse and worse each time. Give yourselves an identity. Stop frantically changing. You need to make one big change, and you need to stick with that shit long term. You need to see the numbers, you need to see how it's working out, and then you make a decision. You don't just keep changing things on a whim. If you do, it's going to create instability in your team, in your work, and in your product, and it shows. It's an absolute mess, and where you've gotten minimal content over the past year and a half.
Strategy. And we're going to dig deep into custom Cs and how it unlocks a new era
Custom
of
Cs,
creativity. But before all that, let's do some reflecting. We've covered some of these topics in the last podcast that we did, but let's talk about some of the things that we've learned from the past seasons and what some of those challenges were. Mike?
Yes, as we mentioned on the podcast, the approach with 17, 18 and 19 has been to optimize our plan for regularity. So every month there's something for players to come back and experience, new goals to go and attain. But I think the reality of that is these smaller, more piecemeal updates, the pressure that puts on us as a team. It means that our original aspirations for a feature has had to get scaled back. And we see that response in the community. We've heard it through the Big Listen survey. The reality of releasing content on that rhythm has been really challenging internally. And that means that, honestly, all of us on the team, it's really challenging to know that you're not able to put your best work out there because our initial ambition has to be scaled back. And I think we're not feeling good about what we've released. Our players are telling us they're not feeling good about what we've released. So I think that's really been the main challenge, is just not having the time to do the ideas and the updates justice.
Okay, I kind of get what he's saying in a sense, but let me get this straight. The first question that you have in your cushy little interview with the developers is how hard is it for you? You think players want to hear that? How hard is it for you guys? You guys are suffering so much, right? You guys are doing so much work. You guys are adding monthly updates, for fuck's sake. I mean, shit. They're working so hard. They're working tirelessly to bring you content. Fuck out of here, man. You put this limitation on yourself and then you're crying about how it made it harder for you. That just means you have shit planning. That just means you made a plan and it wasn't good, and then you still went ahead with it anyways and experienced the consequences of failed plans. That's what happened. That's literally what happened. You can deny it all you want. You made a poor plan. You've been making poor plans, and you can't even execute those poor plans properly. We do not want to hear you asking people in the dev studio how hard it is for them to make the game. No. We want to hear what you're gonna do to make this game better. We all pay for this game in some form. Whether we bought it straight up $60 at launch, whether you bought it later for $40, or whether you're using the Game Pass, you are paying Xbox like $20 a month for the right to play this game. We do not want to hear you say, oh, it's been so hard, guys. It's been so hard. I mean, gee, like, it's been super difficult, and we can't get everything out we want to because we limited ourselves. Yeah, whose fault is that? Why are you telling us that? You as a team need to be internally discussing this. This is not your therapy session. This is how you're gonna make the game better. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called a community direct. Instead, this would be called a fucking dev therapist session that no one signed up for. But that's only the first question. So in order to avoid comments, I gotta be fair, and I can't keep hogging on this. So let's move on.
So one of the things that we announced in the last Community Direct was that we were lifting the NDA for insiders. So how's that affected the game development stuff?
So for us, it's been fantastic, actually. After the last Community Direct, we lifted the NDA pretty quickly, and that has really changed the shape and nature and kind of like volume of feedback for the better. The standout, if I think about recent weeks and months, is the last ship standing technical test. There were thousands of people watching it on Twitch when we were testing on the Friday night, and it felt like we had so much more telemetry, data, insight, feedback than we'd ever had before. And obviously, Shelley, that kind of extends past just like last ship standing, right?
Yeah, obviously everything that's going through Insiders now, but things like the new Build Rat Weekend, a live event that we're developing, and some of the deeper Hourglass improvement changes as well. Having more people be able to see and talk about those with the NDA lifted in Insiders has been really valuable in shaping the development of them.
I think as well, just from a game health perspective, if we step back from features,
I'm gonna shrivel up and die if you say game health one more fucking time. I swear to God.
we're getting so many more eyes on the build. Every single Insiders build goes through every couple of weeks. We're getting a better understanding of where the state of the game is at any one point. So as we're approaching releases now, we're seeing bugs coming in from Insiders at a much more, louder level, and we're able to make sure that we're applying resource and teams towards the right areas. So I think it's also helped signal like areas where we need to be improving. Before, we were clearly getting signals, but it was hard to find them. But whereas this amplifies it, we see it much later. So I think we're seeing like feature improvements, but we're also seeing game health stuff coming through.
Oh, fuck. You made me do it. You made me die. That made me so angry that I started fucking making throat gurgling noises that I've never attempted to make before, and it caused me to tear up. Stop! Stop saying game health, please. Your game is one of the buggiest in gaming. Stop. You're not making yourselves look good by saying game health. You don't understand it fully. And on another point, you guys never should have had an NDA to begin with. You know what that tells people? That tells people you have no trust in them at all. And not only that, that means you want to hide something. We're not going to pat you on the back for removing it fucking 7 years after you release the game. You don't get a pat on the back for that. No, that's not how this works. And then they were like, oh, it's such a great thing. We can now get more feedback and we see more bugs. Yeah, no fucking shit. No fucking shit. Of course you see more when you actually let everyone in. When you stop gatekeeping everything, then yeah, you tend to get more feedback. You tend to get more bugs. You tend to get more people involved. You tend to have things get better. So I don't know why you're talking about this like it's some big Socrates philosophical awakening, because that is common sense. I'm sorry. If you don't realize that from launch, A, you don't trust your players. B, you don't trust your team to make a good product. And C, you're alienating a lot of people. Why did you ever do that in the first place? It's beyond stupid and silly. Should have been done a long time ago.
This change to the NDA.
And especially after insider tests now, seeing that dialogue happening on social media, ongoing, just seeing that a little bit of pulse check on the state of features, just seeing that organic conversation has been really good.
And just continuing with like some of the things that have gone really well, we've had things like the Festival of Giving and the community weekends. How did they go, Christina?
Festival of Giving was amazing. We had new tech, which is where you emote, you give something, and it was amazing to see how far those cosmetics travelled and how much fun people were having with them. We've had a couple of community weekends which have gone really well. We've had loads and loads of players pile in and share really amazing stories from those weekends. And then we're doing things at the minute. We're fundraising for Game Blast. We I think are right now, at time of recording, we've just raised over £80,000 for the folks at Special Effect, which is amazing. So community good vibes, they're really high. And while we're not perfect, we are making those changes to how we kind of approach development of the game. I really hope that our players are starting to feel that we are making meaningful changes in terms of how we're developing Sea of Thieves.
So I just want to pick up on something that you were talking about there. You're saying we're listening to the feedback and we have lots of stuff going on in the game health side of the game. What's going on there?
Oh, fuck. God, you just punched me in the balls by saying game health again. Stop. Oh, shit, my nuts. Stop saying game health. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I think it's the game health stuff flies under
You just twisted my dick. Oh, God. Stop.
a little bit. It's not the biggest, flashiest set of changes, and sometimes they're not going to make trailers. But we've made some massive changes since the last community direct in July. Like, we were sitting in a game now with increased field of view. We've got improved weapon switching. There's improvements to cross-region matchmaking in Hourglass. There's a range of improvements where we've just gone down to the core experience and said, there's something here that we need to go and improve. And in the past, we've kind of talked openly that we haven't had space and time to go back to old experiences and to bring them up to ship shape. But there's some great experiences there where I've kind of just talked about those features where we've gone back. And that's just on the features side of things. There's also long-standing bug fixes that over the last 6 months we've addressed, like water desync on console is no longer a thing, for example. So I think we've slowly but surely working through these game health issues. And yeah, I wish they did get some more airtime.
Don't feel anything at this point anymore. They've already punched my balls, twisted my cock, punched me in the stomach, and made me choke on air. Oh, fuck. Dude, so you're saying that you've been so distracted with what little content you've been making that you couldn't keep the game stable? That's your excuse? Jesus, man. I don't even know what to say at this point. Just admit that the game health got way out of control, and it still is out of control, and that you're trying to work on that. You don't need to give us the excuse of, well, we were working on other stuff, so we just kind of forgot about that. Didn't you have a whole team dedicated to game health, by the way? What happened to that? I guess it goes out the window when you need an excuse to make.
But I think I even, in preparation for this, looked back through the last set of patch notes, and you can kind of see real clear game health improvements, whether it's features or whether it's key bug fixes. And that was a real commitment from us last time to say, hey, this is a renewed investment in game health.
Hey guys, our blog poster, he fucking killed it writing down the patch notes. You guys seeing those patch notes? Fucking clean. And there's more sentences on them too. There's more words, which means that things are getting better. The fuck, man. The value of patch notes does not dictate the quality of the product. Shit.
So yeah, I'm feeling really good about that.
And on that point, there's fixes to the core experience as well as part of game health. So we've got our first set of...
The core experience is game health. You can't distinguish between the two. The core experience of the game means how the game plays, how the game feels, how the game functions. You cannot separate the core experience from game health. Because if game health is the most important thing, then it's part of the core experience. Stop! Don't separate the two.
improvements to just general population of how often it feels like you're coming across those other players and having those encounters. We've got a set of changes coming out there. We're going to be rolling out more changes and assessing it live over time. But we're really hoping that that feel of the seas feeling more alive is something that people can meaningfully see and feel by the time they see this video.
By the way, this is an admission that they literally cannot keep busy servers up because their performance has been so fucking poor. Like, come on. You're just admitting stuff without actually saying it. Jeez.
Across other players in the shared world is the heart of Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
I mean, separate to any pieces of content, the heart of the game is you and your crew interacting with other people out there in the world. And it's been illuminating to see where we've had this issue. And the tweaks that we made so far seem to be having a huge improvement to people's encounters on the wave. So really good stuff.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we've made some changes under the hood that we've not told people about to see kind of what the response is from a kind of a telemetry and a kind of community perspective. And we turned things on. We made a couple of changes, and within probably a day or two, a few partners messaged us being like, what have you done? So I think if you think about how meaningful that might feel, especially to those people who are playing a lot, to see that frequency of encounter just shoot up, I'm really excited about the changes we have to come. It's a really, really cool part of the game experience. And
I'm glad that you have some people who are obligated to say nice things to you, come to you and say, what did you do? Because they play the game 8 hours a day for a living. That's real nice. Also, if you're making changes, can you just fucking tell us? Why does it have to be a secret? Like, you can just tell us what you're doing. It's not a crime to. I don't know what fucking British developers are doing over there, but Kinetic Games and Phasmophobia, they're very transparent with everything they do. They show everything they're making, and they tell us exactly what they're gonna do. There's no fucking surprises and mystery boxes as to what we're getting from the dev team. They just give us stuff. And we get it. And there's often very few bugs. I know it's a very different game and a much smaller scale game, but this is to say that execution matters and transparency matters. Why won't you tell anyone about the changes? I just don't get it.
we've got some changes coming that hopefully means you bump into more people more often.
So, Christina, we had the big lesson out there, and obviously we take those results, and a bunch of them are around game health that we saw back in there, but some of that was around like toxicity, right?
Yeah, no, that's right. And so one of the first big lessons we did, that was the real surprise to a lot of us, is how kind of game health, the perception of game health is kind of twofold, right? It's kind of technical experience, but then it's also kind of your experience with other players. And it was really surprising to us how much that impacted people's perceptions of game health. So off the back of that, we did an additional toxicity survey where we surveyed people on kind of what they perceive to be toxic. We listed loads of things, some of which we thought were toxic, some of them are kind of legitimate gameplay experiences, but we wanted to see what people thought of them. And we've gone away, and off the back of that, we formed kind of an internal toxicity strike force, for want of a better phrase, where we're kind of taking a really holistic, multidisciplinary approach to trying to make the game a better experience for everyone involved. So lots of things to dig into there, and hopefully lots of things to share over future podcasts and community directs and developer updates, etc. But I think one of the key things is we have a set of behaviors where we kind of acknowledge there is kind of a toxic vibe to that encounter. And there's other stuff like chasing another ship or dumping loot off the side of the board, which I think we would probably traditionally class as legitimate gameplay, where the perception is that's toxic. So we've got a lot of work to do, whether it be kind of educational and kind of providing clarity and or making significant changes to the game. But so much value has come from those surveys, and we're kind of all really invigorated and energized to go dig in and make some changes there.
So again, they took a concept that really just can't be interpreted any other way and somehow split it into two things. Game health. We're not saying community health. We're not saying toxicity health. We're not saying anything else. We're saying game health. That means that the game is performing well. That doesn't mean we need to fucking survey people and see what hurts their feelings the most and then and create new enforcement policies based on that. Considering your past enforcement, we can't possibly trust you with new enforcement. And the fact that you had to sneak that into the game health to prove like a point that you're going to be looking out more for quote unquote toxic behaviors, it just seems weird. Why are you including that in game health? You should have just asked a separate question following the game health question, saying it like, how's the player base feel about certain gameplay aspects, or you know, I can't think of the word. It's like, you know, what do you think of player behavior, and are we going to adjust our enforcement policies going forward on bans? And then you can answer that. I don't know how you took game health, split it into two again, and created a player toxicity scaling and got into player reporting enforcement based off of game health. That just seems like you're avoiding the game itself from a technical perspective, because you didn't elaborate further on the tech part. You only went into the details on the player behavior part that you made up. So basically you took the question, deflected it. Like I said in my previous video, the devs love to deflect. We've already seen two aspects in just 7.5 minutes where they just split concepts for no reason, and then focus on the one that they can get a positive out of. It's very disingenuous. I don't like it.
We've covered game health and we talked about toxicity, but I guess the survey also covers like another wide range of topics. Is there anything else we want to dive in on?
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut it off again. By the way, if you see toxicity as a problem constantly, that also means that you're not trusting in your players, because if you truly believe that you can create good experiences in the game with other players, then why are we constantly talking about toxicity and changing up the rules of what's toxic and what's not, and coming up with new formulas to ban people? I mean, even if it's more lenient now, we shouldn't be changing the formula constantly. That's what I'm saying. Sea of Thieves has no stability. This studio, these devs at Rare, they run around like chickens with their head cut off, and it's just depressing.
Yeah, today.
Yeah, so not just the survey, but community feedback from quite a period of time actually is the perceived kind of cosmetics imbalance. So the kind of broad perception is that we are underserving our gold stores or our outpost stores, and kind of indexing too hard on Pirate Emporium. But that's about to change, isn't it, Drew?
Yep, I think we'll share some plans a little bit later on specifics, but I think it's very clear that for a long period of time we've been underserving in the outpost stores, and I think that is about to change.
Yes, and I think just mainly just to acknowledge the fact that we've seen that feedback in the community for quite a while now, and I think it's a delicate balance, you know, to be absolutely clear what the role of the Pirate Emporium is. You know, we're here all of these years later because of the sales of the game, and what we sell in the Emporium goes towards funding the ongoing development of the game, and that's an important part of achieving the dreams of our community and our dreams as the creators of the game. But there has been that imbalance, and that's something we're going to need to address. We need to look at it very carefully. But what goes into the gold store versus what goes into the Emporium is something we want to address, and we'll share more details in the future, as Drew mentioned.
So, you just admitted that you were focused on making money, so you ignored the rest of the game's cosmetic features. I mean, at least they're addressing it. That's good. But, like, do you really need to make a stop there and say, hey, the reason we were doing this is because we need money? I mean, yeah, but you're not supposed to say it. Jesus Christ. I have almost never in any other game seen a dev just straight up come out here and be like, yeah, we know we ain't giving away free shit, but we need money. Of course you need money. Everybody with brains knows that. We know. You don't have to tell us that. If you want to say anything, you could have said that sales have been lower lately for the game, so we emphasized Emporium sales. That would have made a lot more sense than just saying, oh, yeah, we do a lot of Emporium stuff, but we need money! We need money for our development! I mean, it's really going to good places, you know, you got, like, limited time events, reskin fortresses, and reskin sharks. I mean, shit, they're putting in the work. I should stop questioning them.
On that point, I think what the recent doubloon reset has taught us is that players are really attached to their currency. There's a lot of folks who've speculated, they've come for our doubloons, are they going to come for our gold next? And Mike, are we going to come for their gold next?
We categorically are not. Gold is the driver of that core loop. Go out into a session, do the voyages, explore, you earn gold as part of that session. That is a reflection of a multi-year journey for many of our players. We look at doubloons differently. It is a secondary currency. It is this little micro economy where we're able to take the swing that we have and reset for a better future. But we have no plans to ever do that with the gold economy.
This is like YouTube coming out and saying, don't worry guys, we're never going to stop having YouTube videos playing on our website. Thank you. I'm glad you're not going to stop doing your core function. I'm thankful you elaborate on that. Thank you, Mike.
We have just touched on the Emporium there, but that's not the only thing that's changing to the Emporium, right?
Yeah, there's quite a few changes coming to the Emporium. So we launched the Pirate Emporium in 2019, and we've been delivering updates monthly since then. And I think we've got to a point where there's almost 70 individual pages within the Emporium of cosmetics available.
Yeah, not only that, the UI is shit.
And unsurprisingly, our players have told us that it's a terrible experience to try and browse. And we've got awesome
Really?
cosmetics within the Emporium that are sitting way back chronologically in the back pages that we kind of want to surface up and show new players that are starting their experience. So as part of future Pirate Emporium updates, we're actually going to be looking back through our back catalogue, and we're going to be streamlining the experience. So there's going to be a reduced set of cosmetic sets on offer in the Pirate Emporium, but that does mean that it gives us the ability to rotate sets over time. Our goal here is to really bring some awesome cosmetics that are kind of sitting in the backlog and bring them up front and center so that players can have access to them. So that's a change that's going to be coming to the Pirate Emporium very soon. That's not the only changes we're going to be making in the cosmetics and Pirate Emporium side. There's also some changes we're going to be making to the Season Pass model, if you want to dig into that.
Yeah, so our next iteration of the Season Pass will be going live in Season 20, and we've worked really hard to try and evolve our Season Pass into a much more rewarding and clear experience. So not only are we overhauling the UI so that you will kind of move through these tiers of unlocks as you go through, but also the way that you relate to earn.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, it looks good. As long as it works. And that's yet to be seen. But as long as it works, I do not mind this. This looks okay.
Renown. We're trying to really simplify that and make that feel a lot more meaningful for players, so it's much clearer what you do to move through the Season Pass. In terms of the actual rewards that you unlock as well, we're introducing a new set of not only playable rewards in the form of limited voyages that you can earn, but some of those previous
Time limited voyages. Yay! God damn it, you guys. I can just, like, spend, like, 3 months on something much cooler and more permanent, as opposed to making limited time shit. That was another one of my complaints in my first video. God damn it.
locked in the Emporium items are going to be items that players can choose each time you get to one of those tiers of unlock as part of progressing through for free in the Season Pass.
And we've got the star prize.
And of course, at the very end of all of that, there is the Star Prize, which is our new super high quality, super special item that we can't wait to be able to share with people.
I think it's been good to reflect on the Season Pass and the quality of rewards that we're giving to players. I think the approach here has been to have less filler, I would say, in the Season Pass and make sure that all of the rewards are going to be seen as desirable by our players. You know, as you mentioned, from having the Star Prize there as that ultimate end prize at the end of the track, to having the playable rewards, to having the Emporium returning cosmetics, I think overall should feel like a much more compelling offering to players each season.
And I will say, I have seen the Star Prize in art reviews, and I remember seeing it and thinking, oh my goodness, I've not seen anything like that as a cosmetic reward in Sea of Thieves before, so I think players will be really excited for it, especially if we can show it right now.
Okay,
right
I'll
now,
give him that.
we're
That's pretty
kind of
cool.
in the middle of season 19, and we're due for some exciting stuff with the Build Drop Weekender and Last Ship Standing coming up. But we're in this 3-act structure at the moment, but there's changes coming there, right?
There are. So, as I mentioned at the start, as a reflection of the challenges that we've talked about here today and on the podcast, I think the plan that we had around optimizing for the regularity of releases for players, so every month there's always something new to put the focus on. We see that less of the headline features of the season now and more about building a compelling live service calendar. So a big part of this is the Build Rack Weekender that our players already know about, but also Last Ship Standing, which has been in insider testing and had some great feedback. Do you want to talk a bit more about Last Ship Standing?
Yeah, so Last Ship Standing is our 6-ship hourglass battle. Players can vote on that and then emerge in the Sea of the Damned in a special map and basically battle to be the last ship standing. But unlike our classic 1v1 mode, players get rewards based on how they placed within that, so it's not quite so all or nothing. So even coming second or third can still be netting you more allegiance and more rewards for your hourglass. And that it will be available for a month as part of Act 3, but then afterwards it's going to be coming back regularly for a shorter window, but on a monthly basis as well.
How do you make a special map in a special, cool as fuck sounding new PvP mode, and yet you only have it available for limited periods? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That means you are investing heavy resources into a new PvP mode that you only plan to use like a quarter of the time. Like, are you fucking stupid? I literally just like did like one of those like groaning face palms IRL because I'm so disgusted by that. What devs put such effort into a game mode like that and then not keep it as a permanent thing? That just is so stupid. Why would you ever do that? That makes no sense. It doesn't make sense for the players. It doesn't make sense for you. It doesn't make sense for anybody. What's gonna happen? We have a bunch of players who fucking love Last Ship Standing, and then you just take it out because you want it to be a limited time mode. That just doesn't compute. You're alienating even more players by doing that. It's so poor. It's such a poor decision. Can't believe it.
And also coming back on a regular basis is the Build Rack Weekender. So,
by the way, we are 15 minutes into 16 almost minutes into this now, and the only positive thing I've had to say is that the Battle Pass menu looks nice and that the sword they showed was pretty fucking cool. Other than that, I've had like nothing positive to say this entire time. My opinion still remains the same.
we've had lots of feedback over the years around the various live events that we've run, and there's always been that, I think we've felt it, always that sense of tension in the community around, like, is this ever going to come back? Is it time limited? So we've always wanted this vehicle to bring popular live events back. So that's where the Build Rack Weekender has come from. It's this once a month in-world pirate festival that celebrates a live event that returns as a showcase alongside specific activities to earn the doubloon currency. As part of the Weekender, we've been looking at the feedback we've been getting in the insider forums, and we've just been putting some time and effort into positioning all the elements just right for that first launch. So a key part of it is Duke, as we've mentioned, and Arena stock. So around Duke's availability, we're going to be keeping Duke around for the month now. And in terms of Duke stock, while we originally planned to rotate it each month, we're going to be keeping that stock around for longer to just relax that feeling of pressure to coming and earn those rewards. So Duke will be around for a lot longer, and we'll continue to look at insider feedback. We'll continue to look how the first one lands, and we'll continue to iterate it. The Build Rack Weekender is very much our platform for bringing back some of our most popular live events. So it's going to be just interesting to see how that plays out in the community following release.
So some awesome stuff coming to season 19. We've talked about some of the changes that are coming to seasons all up. What's
Yeah, some awesome shit, some more limited time content.
coming for season 20?
So season 20. So last time we sat on this sofa, we talked about a very exciting feature set, which was custom seas. We talked about a great experience, giving players the tools to the Pirate Sandbox, and we talked about that as an experience. And I think we even eardropped it as an early 2026 target for ourselves. But we also talked about Custom Seas being a premium feature that was going to be part of our first Pirate subscription, so a paid-for premium subscription. As we've stepped through the development process, I think we've started to see the magic of Custom Seas come to life, and at this point we'll have had at least one of our first looks in Insiders. I think we've seen internally the excitement and the magic build from just giving players and our creators tools to be able to create experiences for themselves. And we kind of took a step back and took the opportunity to go, are we giving Custom Seas the opportunity to reach its full potential? And I think we answered the question no. I think by introducing it in the way that we'd originally planned as part of a premium feature set behind a subscription, I don't think we were giving Custom Seas the opportunity to engage and create a tool set for all of our players. So as part of Season 20, we're going to be bringing Custom Seas to all of our players free of charge. So it's no longer going to be behind a subscription. It's going to be available to everyone. And we can't wait to bring such a rich tool set to everybody and see the magic that players are going to create as part of it.
Well, that's a good decision. You shouldn't have charged it, or charged for it. If you did, you would have pretty much lost everybody. That could have potentially brought more players to your game. Like, that, to me, that would have been a no-brainer. I would have said don't charge. From an internal standpoint, because it doesn't matter if you get a handful of people that pay like $8 a month. Sure, that's nice, but you could have a whole base of new players that'll buy your Emporium shit just to make cool pictures. You gotta think of it a different way. You gotta think past the instant gratification of subscriptions and think of the long-term benefits, especially when you already have skins in pirate ships and pets in the Emporium. You could make bank by providing Custom Seas, because then people are going to use all that stuff to make photos and custom videos and all that stuff. So, good decision.
So Custom Seas is now going to be free for all players, which is awesome. How does it feel to then be bringing that to such a wider variety of players?
It's incredibly exciting. And the way we're testing it in Insiders at the minute is kind of piecemeal, where they get a glimpse of a feature and a glimpse of a feature here. But even with the first version or the first set of features, so many of the team were just watching people over the weekend have a whale of a time, sometimes in languages they didn't understand, because they're having so much fun with it. I watched so many clips of people just be like, I can spawn a thing here. I watched a ship battle where someone had kind of like zoomed up and kind of watched it happen from the sky. The amount of creative possibilities that this gives folks is just, I genuinely feel like it's quite endless. Even with such a small version going in Insiders, the amount of different types of content we've seen it's just been incredible to see, and I think the team are so energized by seeing that in hands, right?
I think that's the bit. It's so exciting because we're creating a set of tools, but it's not about what those tools are, it's about what players are going to do with them. And some of that we have no idea, and that's what I'm the most excited for. Things are going to come out of that, game modes, ways people play that we've never imagined, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, the reception was fantastic, and to Christina's point, even a small subset of the ultimate functionality, but seeing people being able to spawn things on the fly, create these moments, and there's a cinematic camera as well, which players haven't seen yet, the ability to take these cool screenshots and create these cool videos. I think we're going to see a huge range of experiences unlocking Custom Seas, from beginning to form the foundations of game modes, creating these cool party modes with your friends, and just remembers machinima, like creating stories in the engine of a game. Like, it really feels like Sea of Thieves is this toy box, and we're handing that over to our players and allowing them more control than ever before. So I think the potential to show off some of the best moments of Sea of Thieves and see the originality and the ingenuity of our community come to life through Custom Seas is something we're just so excited about. And it goes back to that point of we're so impressed by what we've seen so far, and we don't want to limit that. We want to put that in the hands of all of our players.
And even though there's going to be plenty of tools there, and like you said, even with a few tools, not even the full package that will be there at launch, players are still doing cool things already. But even with that launch tool set, we're going to be adding more to it over time. We're going to be looking at the things that players want, or the kinds of things that they want to build but they can't build, and iterating and growing it over time as well.
I think that's our commitment as part of Season 20, is that we're going to be in listen mode. We're going to release this awesome toolset, but we know it's a starting point, and we're going to be listening and watching and laughing alongside our players. But our commitment is that this is a toolset that we continue to grow and evolve over time.
The way he said we're going to be in listen mode sounds like the way my mom tried to get me to be quiet when I was 5 years old.
And it's the perfect example of a feature set where listening to the community and responding to their needs is absolutely critical, because we know our community will do things with that feature set that we can't expect.
Yep, they are. They're going to make the N-word with a bunch of chests. I guarantee it happens within 2 to 3 days minimum. Actually, maximum. I meant to say maximum, my bad.
So, and I think, to your point, making that commitment up front that this is an ongoing track of work, we're going to expand this over time based on the needs of the community, is really exciting.
So it's really exciting to see players already getting their hands on some of the early features, but do we want to talk more about the features that are coming in Season 20, Shelley?
Yeah, sure. So in Custom Seas, from the moment you start your session, you'll see so much control at your fingertips. When you load into that first lobby, you can decide what ships you want in there, how you want your players. If you want to put all 24 players on one ship, then go for it. You can set a set of what we're calling switches, which are things that turn things on and off in the experience. So you might want no storms on or no AI on because you want a really friendly experience. You can set those kind of upfront controls, and there are a bunch of presets that we've made there as well for those. You can also decide whether or not you want to turn on a scoreboard and turn on competitive scoring. And then it's up to you to decide what sorts of things count and how much those things will award. So if you want to award 5 silver for killing somebody, or 10 silver for killing a skeleton, like, you can make your own games and your own rules up that way. And then when you enter into the session, you've got all those controls at your fingertips to be able to quick spawn any item that you want, any AI that you want. But you can also go into a deeper menu and be able to evoke any world event that you want. You could start a fort of fortune. You could spawn a kraken, spawn a meg. You can really curate the session how you want it. And you've got those controls to kind of move around the world, teleport wherever you want to. You can also move your ship really easily with a quick sail option. You can fly and look around the environment.
This is so weird to look at as a Sea of Thieves player.
Earlier. So it really is a wealth of things that you can do to just curate the experience your way.
And there's also legendary locations. So there's 4 legendary locations that are going to be available in Custom Seas. We've got the Sea Dogs Tavern, Return of the Sea Dogs Tavern.
Oh my god, they brought it back. I thought I would never get to see this as a SOT player, because when I first started playing this game, it was Season 8. And I saw this, I was like, damn, this is cool. And I was like, I'm never going to be able to go in there and see it because I was too late. But here we go. I get to see it. W. Can't say anything else.
You'll be able to go inside the Sea Dogs Tavern and create stories and gameplay in there. There's the Damned Sea Dogs Tavern. There's a twist on that. The one...
Whoa! They made it fucking purple. And purple's my favorite color. So that's cool.
From the adventure, there's Tribute Peak. So Shores of Gold, being able to have adventures on the Shores of Gold. And then lastly, there's Old Sailor Isle. There's always been that feedback of the Maiden Voyage Island is so cool, I want to go there with my friends. You'll be able to do that in Custom Seas.
Our intent is also to build and supply additional legendary locations over time. One specifically that we're really excited to bring in is the Last Ship Standing map in the Sea of the Damned, right?
Seas of Sailor's Grave.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's one way you can keep it in the game, but another way you could keep it in the game is just not fucking having the mode be limited time. God damn it.
Opportunity there to bring more legendary locations for players to be able to create some really cool experiences with.
Yeah, and we're quite excited by the idea of, we've got Last Ship Standing as part of our live event calendar. We've got that coming back periodically for players to get involved in, but it always being available in Custom Seas, so people can practice, get used to the gameplay, try out different techniques, and then take that into the event when it's live again.
Does that mean the hot tub is back?
The hot tub is back.
Does.
Confirmed.
Needs a good deep clean, I think, but it's back.
So loads of exciting stuff on Horizon for Sea of Thieves, but what are you guys most excited about? Drew, I'll start with you.
I think I'm just excited to bring this.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't really care about what they're excited for, so I'm just gonna, like, speed up the rest of the video and see if anything else is said, and if there is, I'll go back and, you know, address it, but I don't think that there's gonna be anything else said, and I want to keep this video as short as possible, because I know I've been rambling. It's probably like an hour already. As I predicted, there was nothing new, they were just yapping. So, let's go over what they said. The first, like, 11 minutes, they were just fucking yapping about their excuses for why they haven't done good lately and what they're gonna do to fix it, which, I mean, I guess some of it's good. The UI for the season pass looks nice. That new sword that they added is pretty fucking sick. They're organizing the Emporium and making cosmetics rotational. Yippee. And then you have custom seas. That was the main thing they announced here. And yeah, it's pretty cool. People are going to do a lot of fun stuff with that, but people are going to do a lot of shit stuff with that too. That's the problem when you add, like, sandbox-y tools like that. Like, you're going to have great stuff and you're going to have shit stuff. It's just the way of the road. So, I think that most of the stuff will be cool, but, you know, there's always going to be that one, like, 10% who's going to do weird shit with it. And what I think of custom seas is I actually might use it. I don't know. It sounds like a lot of fun to just go into a private server with my buddy and 1v1 each other somewhere with 2 sloops. That just sounds kind of fun. Because we can't match up naturally in Hourglass very frequently. Even if we try, so, you know, it's not something we get to do that often. And also, if I want to practice, I'd rather practice with my best friend than anybody else, because, you know, usually when people beat the shit out of me in the game, they usually shit-talk me. But it's at least easier to deal with when I have my best friend doing it. But yeah, I didn't like how they deflected a lot of the issues, or had excuses for them, or just came up with meanings that weren't there to justify themselves. Just take accountability, say that you've come up short. Hell, you can even say you're missing the mark. I mean, yeah, you said that along with game health like 15 million times, but at least it's true. I don't know. I feel like while custom seas is a positive thing, half of this was just a cope session for them to, like, save face in front of their players and try to, like, rally people to get behind them, basically. And to show them, like, a crumb of, like, hey, we've been doing stuff. We made, like, a green sea and, like, people can fight each other. And then we made, like, Minecraft creative mode for y'all. Y'all hyped? Which is cool. It is a good addition. But, you know, there's a lot more we can do. There's so much lore to the Sea of Thieves that just hasn't even been just explored. Like, there's so many things we could do. And I'm not sure if creative mode is the #1 priority right now. I don't know. I'm not the game devs, I'm not the producers there, so it's not my decision to make. But I hope they start putting more into the story and less into limited time content. Stop. Bad Rare. I'm gonna slap you on the wrist over at Rare if you don't stop yapping about limited time events. That just pressures your players into playing your game more, and it's lame. We don't want to have that. It's not cool. Stop doing that. I want permanent content that I can repeatedly do. Like, damn, dude. It's frustrating. It's frustrating that they dodge accountability so hard. And portray themselves as, like, you know, saviors that are truly helping us, because they're really not. I can say that it was a very good decision for them not to monetize this the custom seas as well, because you'll get more money naturally from the players you bring in than you would if you charge people like a select few $7-8 a month. It just wouldn't make sense for the long-term healthier game. But yeah, that was one of the directs of all time. It wasn't really a direct, it was more just like the big four sit down and present you something new, and then also along the way cope about how they haven't done things right. And yeah, that was it. That's all I have to say. It's not swung me over in any particular direction. I'm not compelled to play the game any more or less because of it. And I don't really have anything else to add because I think I said everything I wanted to say. So, again, this has been Smeagle McDinkledorf, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, y'all.